Polity. India is a union of state, is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic with a parliamentary system of government. The republic is governed in terms of the constitution, which was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on November 26, 1949, and came into force on January 26, 1915. The constitution, which envisages parliamentary form of government, is federal in structure with unitary features. The President of India is the constitutional head of the executive of the Union. Article 74, 1 of the Constitution provides that there shall be Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister as its head to aid and advise the President, who shall, in exercise of his functions, act in accordance with such advice. The real executive power thus vests in the councils of ministers with the Prime Minister as its head. The Constitution distributes legislative power between parliamentary state legislature and provides for vesting of residual powers in the Parliament. The power to amend the Constitution also vests in the Parliament. The Constitution has provided for independence of judiciary, comptroller and general auditor general, public service commissions and chief election commissions. Both houses of parliament have similar committee structures with few exceptions. Their appointment, terms of office, functions and procedure of conducting businesses are also more or less similar and are regulated as per the rules made by the two houses under Article 118(1) of the Indian Constitution. Union and its territory. India comprises 28 states and 8 union territories. The Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019, which was enacted MHASO number 3978E, dated November 2, 2019, to provide for the reorganization of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories, one to be eponymously called Jammu and Kashmir and the other Ladakh. Citizenship Amendment Act. The Amendment Act makes foreign illegal migrants of six religious communities: Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi and Christian from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan eligible for Indian citizenship. It is applicable to those who have taken shelter in India due to persecution on the grounds of religion or fear of such persecution in their country, who have entered into the India on or before December 31, 2014. The third schedule to act has been amended to make applicants belonging to the said communities from the three countries for citizenship by naturalization if they can establish their residency in India for 5 years instead of the previous requirement of 11 years. The provision of the act, however, do not apply to tribal areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Tripura as included in the 6th schedule of the constitution, and the areas where inner line permit is applicable, including the state of Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram and Manipur. Fundamental rights. The constitutional offers all citizens, individually and collectively, some basic freedoms. These are guaranteed in the constitution to form of six broad categories of fundamental rights which are justiciable. Article 12 to 13 contained in the part 3 of the constitution deals with the fundamental right. Directive principle of the state policies. The constitution lays down certain directive principles of the state policies which, though not justiciable and fundamental in nature of the country, it is the duty of the state to apply these principles in making laws. These have been contained in part 4 of the from Article 36 to 51 of the Constitution. The Union and the Executive. The Union Executive consists of President, Vice President and Councils of Ministers, with the Prime Minister as being head to aid and advise the President. Legislature of the Union, and which is called Parliament, consists of President and the two houses known as Council of States, Rajya Sabha and House of People, Lok Sabha. Each house has to meet with 6 months of previous sitting. A joint sitting of the two houses can be held in certain cases. Leader of the opposition in the Parliament, leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha are accorded statutory recognition. Salary and other suitable facilities are extended to them through a separate legislation brought into force on November 1, 1977. Government business in Parliament. The Minister of Parliamentary Affairs is entrusted with the coordinating, planning and arranging government business in both the houses of Parliament. In discharge of function, he is assisted by two ministers of states. Consultative committees. Functioning of the consultative committees of the member of the Parliament for various ministries is one of the main function, one of the functions of allocated to the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs under the Government of India Allocation of Business Rule 1961. The minimum membership of a consultative committee is 10 and the maximum membership is 30. The consultative committee stands dissolved upon the dissolution of every Lok Sabha and are reconstituted upon the constitution of each Lok Sabha. Parliamentary committees. Financial committee, financial committees PAS, estimate committee PSU. Standing committees DRSC, Committee on Railway and Health. Ad hoc select committees, example Select Committee on GST. Administrative committees, example Business Advisory Committees, Rules and Privileges. Cabinet Secretariat. Cabinet Secretariat functions directly under the Prime Minister. The administrative head of the Secretariat is Cabinet Secretary, who is also the ex-officio chairman of the Civil Services Board. The business allocated to the Cabinet Secretary is Secretariat assistance to the Cabinet and the Cabinet committees and the rule of the business. It facilitates smooth transaction of business in ministries, department of the government, ensuring adherence to these rules. It assists in decision making by ensuring interministerial coordination, ironing out differences among ministries, departments, and involving consensus through instrumental of the standing and the ad hoc committees of the secretaries. National Authority of Chemical Weapon Convention, the Convention of the Prohibition of the Development and the Production and the Stockpiling and the Use of Chemical Weapon is multilateral international treaty which outlaws the production of stockpiling and the use of chemical weapon and their persecutors. The Chemical Weapon Convention came into force with effect from 1997. The National Authority for Chemical Weapon Convention was set up as an office of the Cabinet Secretary on behalf of Government of India. The obligation under the Chemical Weapons Convention and to act as national focal point for effective liaison and with the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons and other state parties on matter relating to convention. National Disaster Management Authority in 2005, the government enacted the National Disaster Management, which envisaged the creation of National Disaster Management Authority under the Ministry of Home Affairs, headed by the Prime Minister, and State Disaster Management Authority, headed by the respective Chief Ministers, to spearhead its implementation of a holistic and integrated approach to disaster management in the country. Administrative reforms and public grievances. Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances is the nodal agency of the government of India and for administrative reforms as well as redressal of public grievances relating to the state in general and those pertaining to central government agencies in particular. Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration. Government of India instituted Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration to acknowledge, recognize and reward the extraordinary and innovative work done by officers of the central and the state government. Civil Services Day. The government celebrates Civil Services Day on 21 April every year as Civil Services Day for the civil servants to rededicate themselves to the cause of citizen and renew their commitment to public services and excellence in work. National Conference on E-Governance. The Department of Administrative Reform and Public Grievances, along with the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology in association with the state government, organizes the National Conference on E-Governance every year since 1997. National E-Governance Services Delivery Assessment. National Governance Service Delivery Assessment aims at assessing the states, union territories, central ministries on the depth and the efficiency of e-governance services daily. The United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs bring out the United Nations e-government survey every 2 years, which provides an analysis of the progress using e-government. India scored 180 in 2014, which improved to 107 in 2016 and 96 in 2018 out of 193 member countries. E-Office project. E-Office is one of the important mission mode project for implementing the Digital India plan. The DAR and PG is the administrative ministry for ensuring the e-office implementation attempts to increase the usage of the workflow and the rule-based file routing quick research and retrieval of files and of file officers, digital signatories, forms and reporting components. Dashboard for COVID-19 grievances. During the preventive lockdown in wake of COVID-19 pandemic, DARPG started a special drive to redress lockdown and COVID-19 related grievances in shortest possible time to ensure dedicated monitoring of those grievances. A separate national monitoring dashboard for COVID-19 grievances was created. All such ministry and state government have nominated a nodal officer for prompt disposal of such grievances. Good Governance Index. DARPG has developed Good Governance Index for 10 key sectors across 50 indicators. These indicators can be used to assess the status of governments and impact of various interventions taken up by the state government and the union territories for improving governance. First edition of Good Governance Index was released by DARPG on December 25, 2020 on the occasion of Good Governance Day. Integration of Awaz-e-Awam with CGRAMs. Public Grievances Portal of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has been integrated with the centralized Public Grievances Portal of Government of India for seamless transfer of grievances to the authorities responsible for redressal and effective monitoring for their prompt disposal. National Center for Good Governance. National Center for Good Governance is an autonomous institute under DARPG which serves as a think tank for the governance and policy reforms cutting across administrative, social, economic and financial spheres. It functions as a national repository on information on its best practices, initiatives and methodologies that promote good governance, e-governance, innovations, change management within the government. This was the third topic, polity, from the Indian Yearbook summary. Please do like, share and subscribe. this channel. The next is defense.